Hello and welcome to WoWcast. Today we're diving deeper underground into the next content update for The War Within, Undermined. Joining me today are two developers from the team who helped bring this update to life. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm David Hollings. I'm a game designer who focuses primarily on Battleground and arena maps.
Hi, I'm Mark Collada. I'm an assistant lead quest designer and the point for the Undermined update.
Thank you for joining us today. Let's jump right in. What made Undermine the perfect location for this major update?
Undermine is a location that we've seen throughout the lore of World of Warcraft for quite a while, both in manuals back from 1999. I think it was just like a little location at the south of the map, to Cataclysm and seeing it in gossip text and other interactions with goblins. So for us, it didn't make a lot of sense to put it in the first 4 zones, but it certainly makes a lot of sense to put it here. Another thing that we really wanted to do when we were looking at Undermine was goblins. Goblins, of course, are this zany, creative, chaotic race that we have in World of Warcraft, and we really haven't seen a lot of development in their culture and who they are, their stories. And so this is our way of making sure that, like, hey, players, we want to give you more stories that are based in cultures that we have not yet seen in the world, but then also make sure that we are connecting it back to the larger story as a whole within the World Soul Saga and especially the War Within. For us, at least, we get to do really cool stuff. We get to interface with the 4 different cartels, the Bilgewater, Blackwater, Steamweedle, and Venture Co. And each one of them and their leaders, as we've got to know throughout World of Warcraft. So we have Monty Gazlo for Bilgewater, Marin Noggenfogger for Steamweedle, Baron Revelgaz for Blackwater. Don't worry, if you've been killing goblins in Booty Bay, you'll be fine there.
My rep.
Yeah. And then Venture Co., not a cartel, but you'll see what we have in store for them. Normally antagonists, but much like everything with goblins, they can shift their allegiances based on whatever it is that they choose to, and we will explain that more within the story.
I'm so excited to learn more about the goblins and their crazy antics. Speaking of the cartels, if we partner with the cartels, what do we get from that?
So the experience that you have within Undermine will change based on the different cartels you ally with. So if you decide to go with Blackwater, Baron Revelgaz will be the one blabbing at you in World Quest in his very awesome, what is a pirate goblin sort of voice. And you'll go around and do different things for the Blackwater cartel. And with that, you will also be able to unlock customizations for your car, different transmogs, toys, sort of the general things that we would expect to come out of a friendship reputation that you're earning throughout the experience.
Speaking of cars, this new vehicle system Drive was mentioned in the Warcraft Direct recently. David, do you have more information on this?
I do, yeah. Drive, which stands for Dynamic and Revolutionary Improvements to Vehicular Experiences, is going to be the new way that you get around Undermine. It's roughly 3 to 5 times faster than a ground mount and a little faster than skywriting at full speed.
I think once people really get a feel for that speed, I guarantee people will really start to see just how fast this car is pretty quick.
How does progression work with the vehicles?
Right, so you'll get your car from Nanny Tallulah, and she's gonna send you on some shipping and handling activities to gain some currency and get some new parts for your ride, and you'll be able to customize your ride, whether you're getting new colors, make it faster, or even change how it drifts. You'll be able to make it your own. Throttle control is going to be extremely important when you're trying to control your car around those like really tight turns of the Undermine.
Also, we do have timekeeper races that players can go and challenge themselves to 4 courses. We have both the forward and the reverse course, and then we want to just see how you decide to make it your own with other players. If you want to do your montages, you're taking a drift in front of the hotel and put it to your favorite music, and please do, right? Like, we really want to see how people make this sort of like an experience that they're getting into themselves.
All right, now let's switch gears and let's talk about delves. Hey, don't make fun of my pun, okay?
There will be 2 new delves, Excavation Site 9 and Side Street Sluice, as well as new variants of goblin-themed delves for the majority of the War Within delves. There will also be a new Zekfir-style encounter as well, that's going to be hosting all new rewards.
Oh, cool. Do you have an example of one of the rewards?
There will be a new mount, the Gobtrotter mount, with new customization options as well, including a gold variant version for the challenge mode.
Oh, similar to like the Void one that's out right now if you beat Zekfir.
Exactly.
Can you tell us more about Side Street Sluice and Excavation Site 9?
So Side Street Sluice takes place in the sewers of Undermine, and you will get to see what Dark Fuse is trying to do in the sewers, what control they're exerting within the space, and the other sort of antics of goblins away from the public eye and their machinations within the sewers. And Excavation Site 9 takes place in a new section behind Opportunity Point at the south of where we're going in the Ringing Deeps. In it, you're going to see sort of like void corruption overtaking Titan ruins to sort of show this eternal conflict we have seen through the history of World of Warcraft of Titans versus void. Within it, of course, you will go and see why it is called Excavation Site 9 with the goblin-themed antics that are down there. It is a super cool environmental storytelling sort of space.
So is our trusty sidekick still Bran Bronzebeard?
Our trusty sidekick is still Bran Bronzebeard, yes. So we decided to go with Bran for the entirety of the War Within, as he is a character people have grown fond of early on in Season 1, with all of his meme potential about webs and Nerubians popping out of them. And also it gives us an opportunity to rethink what a sort of expansion level companion will be, instead of season over season constantly changing and forcing people to relearn the mechanics, the abilities, sort of the kit that Bran has. Also, within Season 2 and at the launch of the Undermined update, Bran will be receiving a new tank specialization. So if you're a healer, you no longer have to feel that you need to spec change into a role that isn't the one that you're connected to. He'll be a ranged tank, so he has a shield and a gun, and then a new set of abilities that he will receive for that. Not only that, but we also have goblin curios that we're putting in there, goblin-themed curios. So a dwarf, such as Bran Bronzebeard, with sort of his personality and how sort of larger than life he is, what is he going to do when he's interacting with rockets and bombs and malfunctioning devices throughout the delving experience? There is a special curio that you can receive from doing the challenge encounter.
Oh.
And it'll allow Bran to call down a mech that you then as a player can pilot in the delve.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so it's going to just tie into sort of the goblin fantasy of everything we have within Undermine.
Now let's talk about Season 2, which starts 1 week after the Undermine update. Let's go straight into PvP.
Yeah, so there's going to be a new arena called the Cage of Carnage, and it's unlike any arena we've ever done before. We took a look at the map pool and we noticed that we were missing a couple smaller maps. So we decided to make this map a little bit more cutthroat. Players will be dropped in through a trap door and separated only by a metal platform that'll have ramps on every corner. It's going to be quite a tight fit. It should make for some explosive gameplay.
Well, that's what PvP players can expect. What can PvE players expect in Season 2?
Yeah, so there's going to be a new dungeon called Operation Floodgate. It's going to be a 4-boss dungeon that's taking place in the Ringing Deeps. It's going to be at that big dam that you might have seen, and we are preventing Ventrico and Dark Fuse from knocking over that dam and flooding the region. So players can enter this dungeon immediately, but Mythic Plus will come out once the season begins. The new Mythic Plus dungeon rotation will include the new dungeon Operation Floodgate, as well as the 4 remaining War Within dungeons. But it will also include some older dungeons, the Mechagon Workshop, the Motherlode, and the Theater of Pain.
Yep. Sorry about Theater of Pain. You're going to be farming my trinkets yet again. I know Soul Letting Ruby is one of the very popular ones that people went after.
I'll be going after that.
And then, of course, with Mechagon, we do have our lovely Cogwheel Skill Shot trinket that I'm really excited to see people use again, especially when they're fighting other motorcycles in Undermine and the raid itself.
Now let's talk about the new raid, Liberation of Undermine.
Okay, so Liberation of Undermine. It is going to be an 8-boss raid. It will unlock a week after the Undermined update goes out. And then we have our story mode also unlocking a week after that. So we saw success with Nerebar Palace and Queen Ansarek in terms of people going into the story mode. You get to experience the encounter, you get to see the cinematics. And for us, Galliwix's encounter is a really core part of the story that we are telling within the Undermined update. And so, of course, it was a no-brainer. We wanted to make sure that we gave you that story mode so you can go in there as well. In regards to this 8-boss raid, things in Undermine happens the Goblin way. And the raid itself is very much a way with which you can see what zany, crazy encounters our encounter designers cooked up. and did it in a way that's very goblin-y. A couple notable examples that I would call out is we have the Cauldron of Carnage that is going to have a gorilla versus a mechanical Tyrannosaurus that are going to fight each other, kind of a reference. And we have the big tank that does the massive J-turn flame shooting out of it. And then we have our DJ boss, who compels you by the power of sound in order to listen to Gallywix and not to anyone else. And then lastly, of course, the Gallywix encounter, once people see that mech and also what the mythic mount will be, I feel a lot of people are going to be trying to see how they can get to cutting edge because it is wild.
I'm very excited about the Carnage fight because that T-Rex, the Mechasaur, that also has a chance to drop a mount, and as a collector, I want that mount so bad.
It's the coolest mount in the game, in my opinion.
Are there any other rewards we can look out for?
Well, with a new raid comes new gear sets and set bonuses, and these set bonuses are going to be themed around the Magnificent Gallagio. Whether you're a tank that wants a little bit more luck of the draw or a healer that needs a little bit added insurance, the 2 set bonuses are going to be unique per role, but the 4 set bonuses are going to be unique per specialization, and there should be something for everyone.
Before we wrap up, what are you both most excited for with this update?
Oh, it's got to be Drive for me. I mean, I cannot wait to start drifting around the Undermine between queues. It's going to be my new anti-AFK activity for sure.
Going in circles, just like how we always do.
Absolutely, but this time sideways.
So I'm excited for 2 things about the Undermine update. 1, I finally get to be able to talk about Undermine, which is awesome. 2, players getting to experience the new take on Goblin culture. One of the things that the team from StoryCorps all the way down that we have really been excited about is really showing a more relatable story about goblins. And I cannot wait for people to see the passion that has gone into everything about Undermine. I cannot wait for people to experience from our local stories to our main campaign. There is a lot of love and care and passion put into Undermine that really resonates throughout the whole experience. And it really was this moment of just everyone who is excited to work on goblins. We finally were able to be like, here it is. Let's do our best that we can in terms of creating this super compelling story.
Thank you guys so much for talking to me about Undermined, and thank you for tuning into Wowcast, and we'll see you next time in Undermine.